So it's freshman year, and I'm walking from my side of campus to main campus through the underpass. And the thing about the underpass is that there's always something painted on the walls. And this time of year, freshman year, there were advertisements for the different student groups that I could potentially join. And on my walk this particular morning, I was determined to figure out where I could actually fit in. So first, I check out Woosauce, our salsa dancing performance team. And as much as I would love to learn to dance salsa, I realize I don't think I can overcome my 2 left feet in the 4 years of college that I had. Then I decide to check out our a cappella group, the Amateurs. And again, that's also a no, because I really don't think anyone outside of the 4 walls of my shower should actually hear my singing voice. But then I come across Stud Life, and this is our student-run newspaper. And then again, things just start to click. And I see the possibilities, because number one, I wanted to be a writer for so long, and I saw myself as a writer. As a little girl, I would write stories all the time and tell them to my family. And number two, I knew that this is something I could be good at, because I got A's in English in high school, and I even had a writing scholarship going to college. And 3, I really wanted to write for The New Yorker when I grew up. I mean, I was obsessed with this magazine. I had covers plastered over the walls in my dorm. Like, this was gonna be my dream job. So I realized if I write for the student paper, this could be practice in getting my dream job, and I just had to do this. So I sign up and I wait to get my first article. And when I get it, can I tell you, it's just like they perfectly made this assignment just for me, because I get to interview the head of the English department, someone that I wanted to take a class from, and I get to talk about this book that I read in high school, Huckleberry Finn. So I go to the professor's office and we talk about the topic for the article, whether it's right or wrong for this publishing company to republish Huckleberry Finn, but in a censored way, taking out the language that's considered offensive today, but language that was okay back in the day. So I'm like so excited after this interview, and I rush back to my dorm so I can start writing my article. And even though there's like a ton of other stuff that I have to do, like my homework, I don't even care. I'm like, I need to start writing this while everything is still fresh in my brain. So I go to the basement and I start writing, and I listen to the recording of the interview and type. Listen and type, and pull the interview quotes and put them in conversation with my thoughts, and I handpick the different words I want to use to express everything, and I read it again, and I'm like, yes, this is it, and I pick a title, and then off it goes. I hit send, and it goes to my editor to be included in the next issue of Stud Life. So when it comes out, I cannot wait, and I grab the first copy of the newspaper that I see, because I want to see my name and my words in print, because I've never had anything published before. And I start scanning, and then first I see my name, and I'm like, Kelsey Times, staff writer. Like, that is just like the coolest thing ever. I couldn't wait to cut it out, send it to my family. I'm like, yes, okay, I've made it. Then I start to read. But I didn't write that. I definitely didn't write that. And I read it again in my head and again out loud, and reading it out loud is even worse because it just doesn't sound like me, and none of these are the words that I wrote, and it's like someone else wrote this completely, all the way down to the title that I chose, and I don't understand what happened. And maybe I thought I did a good job, but maybe I didn't, and maybe this wasn't what they wanted. And so I have to figure it out, because I'm so confused and I'm embarrassed, because I thought that this was gonna be different. So I go talk to my editor in the newsroom and figure out, okay, what do I need to do better next time? Because I will figure it out. I'll do better next time, because I can do it. And I see her, and she's leaned over talking to another writer and helping them with their work. And I approach and I say, hey, could I talk to you for a second? She looks up, meets my eyes, doesn't say anything, so I continue. I had a question about my article. I noticed that it was a little bit different than what I turned in. And for example, the title is not the same one that I chose. You thought you could write your own title? That's not what we do here. And she laughs. And I just shrink away. I shrink away because I don't want to be in this moment anymore. I wish the last 30 seconds had never happened. I wish I'd never said anything. But then I realized, even with what I did say, she cut me off, and I didn't even get to ask what happened with my writing and why it wasn't good. And now I just don't even know what to do next time, and I don't know how to make it better. And I'm not gonna go ask her again because I'm not trying to get laughed at. So as I get more assignments, I struggle. I try to write in the best way that I can and write in format that I hope will get my words published on the page, but it's just not working out for me. And I worry, maybe I'm just not as good of a writer as I thought. I mean, I was in high school, but this is college, and maybe that's just the difference. And if I can't write for a stupid school newspaper, then how am I gonna end up writing for the New Yorker? Like, maybe I'm just not cut out for that either. And I think maybe I should just quit, because I could honestly be doing so many other things, like hanging out with my friends, getting my work done, getting ahead on some of my work, but I realize if I quit, then that means that I'm giving up. And I'm not supposed to give up, because giving up means that you're letting the people that underestimate you get the better of you. So I just keep trying. A few months later, my mom comes to visit me for Parent and Family Weekend, and I'm so excited to see her and to show her just the classes I'm taking, how I'm getting good grades, making new friends, and taking care of myself. And overall, I'm being the strong, independent woman that she raised me to be. As we're walking through main campus, I look up and I point to the building where Stud Life is. And I tell her, you know those articles that I've been sending you? Well, look, that's Stud Life, that's where I go. Ooh, I wanna go up, come on, let's go. And I freeze. And I'm like, of course she wants to go up there, of course she does, and that's the last place that I wanna take my mom, and I'm kicking myself for even having pointed it out. Because if there's people up there, I don't want my mom to see them ignoring me or looking at me funny, like, why are you here? And that place represents all of my struggles and all of my failures, and that's not what I want my mom to see, and that's not the point of this trip, because the trip is supposed to be me showing my mom that I'm doing well, I'm fine on my own. And it's like she can read everything that's going on in my head when she says, Kelsey, what's wrong? Why don't you want to go up there? And I just start to cry. And everything that I've been feeling, my questions about myself as a writer, my struggles with the paper and my editor and wanting to quit, all of it just spills out of me. And as uncomfortable as this is, I feel a sense of relief, the fact that I'm not sharing all of this alone. After a little bit, my mom pats me on the back and says, Kelsey, it's going to be okay. You don't have to stay there. And eventually I realized that she's right. This was one bad experience, and while yes, it sucks and it didn't feel great, I didn't have to stay there, and it shouldn't take the joy away from writing that I felt all of my life. And it doesn't mean that I can't ever write for the New Yorker just because I didn't know how to write for the student newspaper. So I did end up quitting, and I never walked back to Stud Life again. But what I did do was continue writing, and I still write to this day. Thank you.